Welcome back to Fast Jet Performance then. My name is Tim Davies, and who's the doctor they told you to go and see? That's right, Dr. FJP, and I'm back in session delivering you the medication for the nation as we talk about the degradation of the masculine form, the man in society. And in this video then, I'm going to look at and present to you what I feel we should be as men for our partners, our families, and our communities. Kids today are soft. I died once when I was 5 and my mum made me walk it off. Now, I'm a Gen X baby, all right? I was born in about 74, something like that. I was the kind of guy, unfortunately, and my crowd were, where we just didn't really have parents that kind of knew we existed. We kind of had to drink from the fire hose and go back when the streetlights came on. You know, we got to stand up for this, guys. You know it.
What's going on?
There's security people there trying to stop him. That guy's mad. What's he going on?
Bro, you must go and slap me in it. Bro, you must go and
because you walked there.
Why are you slapping kids?
Because you walked.
Look, he's chill now. He's not a threat at all, is he, that guy? Not a threat whatsoever. He's all relaxed. Yeah, let him go. Let him go. That guy is completely relaxed, isn't he? Look, he's relaxed. Trust him. Yeah, oh, hang on. Oh, he lied. He lied, didn't he? He wasn't trustworthy after all. Oh, no, he was still a threat. In Aylesbury, this motorcycle owner saw someone stealing a bike and they try and stop them. So the guy tries to use his own bike to stop those guys stealing it. And look, that's an old guy. That's an old guy. That isn't a... You can damage people so... Seriously. Another crazy guy doing crazy things. Women, children around. He's got... What is that, phone he's got in his hand or something?
Let's cut this stuff.
Keep away from these people. I think Germany's getting a bit based, as the kids say, getting rid of protesters. These are pro-Palestinian ones. They put them on trains and send them out of Berlin. Chucking them all on trains and get rid of them. Because our children are also being asked to write Valentine's cards for asylum seekers.
Your 5-year-old's first Valentine's to a grown man in a migrant hotel. Great. Schools for Sanctuaries sounds wholesome until you realise what it actually is.
Schools for Sanctuaries.
They're encouraging children, some as young as nursery age, to write Valentine's Day cards to adult men they've never met. Men from unvetted backgrounds. Men who, in far too many cases, come from cultures where grooming, child marriage and abuse are ignored.
And the reason I talk about men having to stand up and speak the truth, and that is your truth, it's about protecting your family, it's about protecting your communities, because of things like this.
Allah is not shy of the truth. We don't say that Islam is here to live, to coexist with lots of different religions and all of us can just hold hands and be friends. This religion was sent to dominate the world. It was sent to be superior, to extinguish the light of every other religion and to be superior to it. We're not shy to say it, and we don't find that to be something that we should be shy to say. That this religion has been sent to dominate, to wipe out, to take out every other religion, to eclipse it, to be superior to it, to have the people leave every religion and to accept Islam. And if that requires fighting to achieve it, then it requires fighting to achieve it. Because the greatest purpose for which jihad was legislated is to make the word of Allah the highest and the word of those who disbelieve the lowest.
The biggest problem that man is going to run into, of course, is by bringing Islam into the UK. Listen, I think one of the problems that we've got when we start looking at how unsafe our society is becoming is people don't understand basic statistics. I'm just going to show you a video now. I'm just going to talk it through what I mean.
Tony Bellew has a brutally honest message to the world as certain people continue to divide communities.
I didn't like the narrative Tommy Robinson was painting, if I'm being totally honest. I seen the interview done with the rapper, and he basically said he's an enemy of Islam. Why would anyone be an enemy of any religion? There's gobshites in every single religion. There's bad Muslims, there's bad Christians, there's bad Catholics, there's bad Jews. Why would anyone pick and target? It's like saying there's good black people, there's good white people, there's bad white people, there's bad black people. There's good and bad in all race, religions, creeds and ethnicities.
And the big man's not wrong, however, and at least he's speaking out, even if it's naive and he doesn't understand basic mathematics. Let's go into it. And the argument that Tony's missing out there, as he's in Saudi Arabia, it looks like, he's missing the argument of, well, these people weren't here before, but we were. Therefore, as men, we have a duty to protect our women and our children. I care more for my daughter's safety than the rights of foreign criminals. That's why I support every peaceful protester outside an asylum hotel. Robert Jenrick, of course, who could have done a lot more when he was actually in the government, as could Suella Braverman, Kemi Badenoch and all the Conservatives now that are whinging on about how they would chuck everyone out, even though they had 14 years to do that in the first place. So, look, it is divisive. He's talking about foreign criminals as if everyone that comes into the UK is a criminal. We know it's not true, but he has got a very valid point. We do need to think about people here first before we actually extend that arm of humanity to other people coming in from overseas. And the term, in case you're wondering, is one I learned recently. It's called oikophobia, which basically says it's a tendency to criticise or reject one's own home or home society whilst praising others. It's been used in political context to refer critically to political ideologies that are held to repudiate one's own culture. And what that really means is that if you want to seem virtuous and correct and right and want everyone to love you, then what you do is you'll reach out that hand of humanity to all these people who have not been vetted, that are living in camps in northern France, and you'll welcome into the country saying, look how amazing we are to accept all these people into the UK. And let's have a look at one of these people who would love to prove to you how amazing and virtuous she is. This is Tess Dunlop. I don't know who she is really, but she's on a TV show on British television again. Jeremy Vine, is that? I'm not really too sure he is either. Let's listen to her.
Do you think we should be paying for hotels?
Dear Tim, I love the way you weaponised the word British there. British people! They've had enough, us poor British people. Do you know the numbers of asylum seekers we take in this country relative, in fact, to our European neighbours, but more saliently to countries like Turkey, who have an excuse for putting their asylum seekers in camps because they house millions of asylum seekers because they border countries where there have been conflicts. We are not even beginning to understand what it means to have a serious asylum problem. So let's just own that for a start. Lucky, I want to say lucky British people. Lucky British people that we don't border the Gaza Strip or that we don't border Syria. Lucky us, privileged us. And how dare we revert to using that word camp, which got us unstuck way back when in 1900, when we shoved Afrikaners and black people in southern Africa into camps and they died in their thousands.
You're talking about Churchill.
We are indeed not Churchill. This is the Boer War, another war we'd prefer not to talk about. That's when the first time concentration camp was coined as a phrase. And let us just then forward wind much more recently to Bibi Stockholm, another version of a camp where Legionella disease, by the way, because the camps in southern Africa in the Boer War, the reason people died was because of disease.
That girl's a lunatic, mate. So, at the risk of being divisive, which of course I pretty much am, because the comments in all the videos I make do tell me that I'm wrong about most things, as men, we have a responsibility to be there and stand up for the communities and the families that we live in. Listen to this man here, he's had enough, but he makes a very good point as well. A quick advert for Ground News, who sponsor this channel, luckily, because YouTube ain't giving me no money, fam. You know what I'm talking about. All the stories you'll find on the front page here that are current. However, you can search for stuff in the bar at the top. When you click on a story, then it will show you here, look, what's left-leaning, centre or right-leaning. It's a right-leaning story. Let's click on it. And then straight away it gives you a summary at the top there. All the stories here, down there. You can even expand it for more articles if you want at the bottom. On the right here, it shows that there's 34 articles. There's 5 left, 14 right, and then there's 5 centre. Below it then, the bias distribution shows that this is a right-leaning article. And you can see here, Fox News, Israel, all that kind of stuff, you know what I'm saying? Here, factuality, expand that. You can see which ones are more factually correct than others, and so you can see who owns it as well. Where are your biases in this? Click on the article if you want. You'll go straight to that website then, and at the top you can see there's a bar that drops down as well, again showing where these biases are. You can then look at left-leaning articles and right-leaning articles and not get sidetracked by the mainstream media. 40% off. Thank me later.
What's up, OJ?
What's up with y'all?
Bro, we don't got that 250, I'm gonna be honest with you.
We don't got that 250. Well, how y'all think y'all ride without 250?
Because, like, it's only 250, bro. You can hook us up.
You got it, bro. No, man. Yo, come on, man.
Now, from someone who used to be a bus operator driving for New York City Transit, I can say this, it ain't worth it. I know, and I've personally seen people get assaulted by challenging the fare. Don't get up out the seat. It ain't worth it. And I'm not going to sit here and act like I was the most perfect bus operator, because it did bother me. But eventually, you'll learn to adjust and say, This ain't my money. And from the jump, transit tells you don't challenge the fare.
Now listen, I'm not saying that man's wrong. I get challenged about this a lot, but it comes down to society we want to live in, don't we? However, that is a private company, and that private company will just elevate those fares to take into account people traveling without paying. If you want to live in a society like that, well, that's a society you're going to live in 100%. And that's why people leave the country. I get it. So we have responsibility as men to do something about this. Now, I'm not saying we need to challenge minors when they go on a bus, they don't pay their £2.50. I'm not saying that at all. But I am saying that when someone assaults you, you need to do something about it. That's an assault right there. That's an assault. The guy starts running away. I'm taking that man down 100%. If you allow people to do this to you, then that's the kind of life you're going to lead.
Pick your pocket, guys. Pick your pocket.
It's going to be a subservient one.
Come, rat. Come, rat.
And that man was a pickpocket, apparently, who'd been called out by the other man. That's why he spattered him. That's why he challenged him. You cannot tolerate that kind of behaviour, guys. Well, you can, of course. You'll get the country you deserve. Now, luckily, we have good people to protect women in our society. These police officers here. Look at this. They just take the man away. Stop messing around. Free Palestine. So I'm going to leave you with a couple of videos then. This one here from Jordan Peterson talking about the importance of speaking up.
One of the things that indicates is that it's almost impossible to provide people with enough protection so that they feel safe to speak. Okay, so we'll address that directly. It is not safe to speak, and it never will be. But the thing you got to keep in mind is that it's even less safe not to speak. Right? It's a balance of risks. It's like you want to pay the price for being who you are and stating your mode of being in the world, or do you want to pay the price for being a bloody serf, one that's enslaved him or herself? Well, that's a major price, man. That thing unfolds over decades, and you'll just be a miserable worm at the end of about 20 years of that, right? No self-respect, no power, no ability to voice your opinions, nothing left but resentment because everyone's against you, because of course you've never stood up for yourself. It's like, say what you think carefully, pay attention to your words.
And that's why I think a lot of people forget what I'm saying or misinterpret it. I'm not saying you go against people that might have knives just because they're robbing a Greggs. But what I'm saying is you represent yourself as a man, you get yourself fit. You got the whole of the winter to do it, by the way. There's nothing else to do apart from hit the gym and eat healthily. And I know it's hard, but that's where the suffering, that's where carrying the burden comes in. Pick up your cross, the thing that's doing you some damage. Alcoholism was mine, you know about that. It might be drugs, it might be a problem marriage you got to sort out. Walk forward with it, carry it, and get down with some other dudes as well and just, have a chat about things, all right? But listen, here's what I'm just saying to you, right? I appreciate you watching the video. We need to do more in this country as men. We need to be stand-up guys. It's not easy. You cannot rely on other people to do it for you. It's hard to speak out. You can just do it on a very, very low level with your community, with your family. You can just bring up topics at the dinner table, that kind of stuff. Guys, also, I appreciate you looking at that advert in the middle of this there. For Ground News, it helps the channel out. Until next time then, you take care of yourself and have a great weekend, all right? Tim Davies, Fast Shit Performance. Speak up. So look, get your girl, fucking hell, mate.